Hey, what's up, C-Maniac Nation? C-Man with a fresh cut is fresh out the AMC here at Garden State Plaza in the car because it was just raining, although it looks like it's kind of stopped, but whatever. We're here now, and we just saw 28 years later, and as a fan of this franchise, I gotta tell you, I really dug this outing. I was stoked just from the sheer fact that after Danny Boyle and Alex Garland only did the first one, to see them come back like 23 years later to revisit this world after we survived the pandemic, I was really interested to see where Garland was going to go script-wise and what Boyle was going to do behind camera, especially knowing that a lot of the cameras in the movie are iPhones. And I love that Boyle takes those types of risks and tries new things. One of the things about his filmmaking that I really dig here. But it was something that I was really interested to go see, and I think that both Garland and Boyle really deliver here. And when you're talking about the script, I love that Garland is able to bring back things that he did in the first one, just tackle it in a different way, right? The idea of like a slice of life. Like, here's a situation that happens to people in the real world. What happens if that situation happened in this world with all these infected people? And how he looks at that, how he looks at the quarantine concept, and like 28 years later, we figured some stuff out, right? Like, the thing that worked the best in the original was living in the chaos because we don't know what we're doing. Here, we're living in a different type of chaos because we do know what we're doing and things are kind of set in stone. And this, much like the first and the second movie, even though Garland and Boyle didn't do 28 weeks, this is a pocket story, right? Just a one-off. Here we are, we're going to hang out with this group of people and see what it's like to live their lives in this world, and how he looks at humanity, how they would react to this type of a situation, how some people are going to lean into their animal instincts, while others will continue to lean into compassion and things of that, and how it's really important to have a little bit of both to survive this type of world. Like, all those things that Garland is playing with in the script, I think hit really, really well. And they tee up Danny Boyle to do, I think, some of the best stuff I've seen him do behind camera, especially when it comes to this kind of movie. Like, 28 Days Later is a movie that'll get under your skin, but maybe because I didn't see it in a theater, I didn't get the thrill and the fear that I was feeling in this one. Like, the amount of times I was on the edge of my seat, the amount of times I was just thinking, like, nope, when the infected show up, and they're not in this movie a ton, but when they show up, they are some of the most effective infected scenes that we get in the 28 series. And it was so fun. Like, there's some cool things too that Garland does on the writing side when it comes to the zombies and how they've evolved over 28 years. Like, there are different types of zombies, and there's one zombie in particular that's in a scene that involves Aaron Taylor Johnson and Alfie Williams trying to go back to their little cordoned off island that they live in Scotland. I was damn near shitting my pants, man. I was freaking out. Like, this thing was terrifying because you'd seen what it could do and how fast and stuff. This dude went to the Tom Cruise Academy of Running for sure. It was just really cool to see Boyle play with that stuff and how he gets into the suspense and the horror and how it just punctuates and punches every time it's on screen, both in the first act when it's a lot more chaotic and very similar to 28 Days, and even in the second act when things are a little bit calmer. Like, I like how Boyle has a different sense of style to the two parts of the story that he tells here. And anything that he's doing in either scenario with the infected work really, really well. But then all of the other stuff, like the Alfie Williams story of this kid and his dad and his mom, and how all of that works and how he navigates those two parts of this one kid's story, I just thought were so well executed. And just, again, being able to utilize the viewpoint of a kid. Like, in the first two movies, kids that were born into privilege of not being in a pandemic world, not being in an infected world, and how they would respond when they need to listen, versus how a kid who only knows this world, I thought that was just so cool. Also, how Boyle and Garland both play with the world and where it is in general. Like, there's more than what we're given. Like, there are a lot of hints and kind of like, oh, if you pay attention to this, it's actually saying a lot more. And I think that's the thing that I really dig most about this movie, is it's a movie that's gonna make people talk. Like, the things that are going on in the film and the things it's looking at from a humanity perspective are gonna create conversation. And that's the type of film that I really, really dig. And then you put in, like I said, really cool camera work. And this movie, I think, looks the most cinematic. Yes, it still has that TV feel because it's a pocket one-off story, although it is supposed to launch potentially a trilogy. There is a more cinematic quality to it. It just felt bigger. Again, maybe it's because this is the first one I've seen in a theater, But I was just loving the cinematography, especially knowing that it was coming from iPhones. Like, it's crazy you get something that looks this good off iPhones. And just the technical elements that Boyle brings, the editing, the scoring, obviously one of the most iconic scores of all time come from 28 Days, and how they update it and then eventually use it, I thought was really, really cool. And then the performances here are absolutely phenomenal. And it's only a handful of them. You obviously have Alfie Williams. He is your kid perspective, but he is also your main character. Like, you're living with him. And while you get a little Jodie Comer in the first act, because she's in the situation that him and Aaron Taylor Johnson are in, you don't really get any Aaron Taylor Johnson in the second. And it's on Alfie to carry this movie a lot, even though he's got great support from both ATJ and from Jodie Comer. But what this kid does and how impressive he was, I was just like, that kid has got a long career in front of him, because he's very, very talented. And he's asked to do a lot and juggle a lot emotionally with what's going on. Like, there is a ritual when you become like almost a teenager, and this kid's only 12. Seeing his first experience with the infected, how he responds to that, how he handles the pressure, how he is looked at through the eyes of his dad and his mom in these situations. Like, this kid just carries everything. Aaron Taylor Johnson is just exactly what you want when you're looking at primal instinct and survival skills and how he functions. Like, this is a guy that's going to do quite well in surviving. How well is he going to do as a person? I don't know. And that's where Jodie Comer comes in and kind of gives you that flip side, that more compassionate viewpoint, that place where there is more emotion around that's not just fear and reaction. Hey, C-Maniacs, Editing C-Man here, because sometimes I forget to say things, and I forgot to say how phenomenal Jodie Comer is in this movie. I love everything that she is doing, and she's bringing so much, both emotionally and physically, because of the ailment she's dealing with, the situation that her family is in, and I love how she elevates the material on the page and in the conversations that Garland is talking about when it comes to being a mother in this world and how it differs from being a father in this world. The bond between mothers and sons, the bond between mothers in general, and there is a scene around that. Oh, man, hold on to your butts. But what she does to kind of elevate that material and really be the flip side of the coin to what ATJ is bringing, and how Garland just kind of looks at being a parent and going through that world. Like, she knocks this thing out of the ballpark, and now let's send it back to review and see, man. And how you see these three performances get you to a place where you understand that all that stuff is really important and will be really important for Alfie Williams' character. And then you throw in Ray Fiennes, who has one of the coolest roles in the entire franchise. His character is so dope. And as you look at his character, there are so many different ways you could go with him. Like, what's been going... That's the other thing. Like, there's so many moments where it's like, there's been 28 years between the first movie and this movie in the world. And we have to fill in a lot of the blanks. And the clues and breadcrumbs that Garland and Boyle leave throughout the whole movie. There's a lot of different ways you could go with some situations and some characters. And the conversations that come from that can be a lot of fun, especially around Rafe's character. And Fiennes is phenomenal here, as he always is. I really liked what he did and how his character is able to kind of just tie everything up from a thematical standpoint. Chef's kiss stuff. And again, like I said, fascinating character. So yeah, man, 28 years later is definitely a different vibe than the first two movies, and definitely a different vibe than the movie that Boyle and Garland already did. But I liked how they updated things. I like how this world has evolved, and I like all the different potential places we could be going in a trilogy. And we're definitely getting a sequel because it's already shot. It's coming out in January. And if these two movies do well, we could get a third one. And I'm not gonna lie, I would be here for all of it, because Boyle and Garland really, really thrive in this world.
C-Maniac Nation, you look nervous. Is it the scars? Would you like to know where I got them? No? Well, then maybe you'd like to see another video with the C-Man. How about up here or over here? And if you really dig the C-Man, well, then show him a little love right over there.